Commission again for hosting today's reception, which presents me a good opportunity to tell you the latest developments in Hong Kong, and in particular, the wine promotion efforts in Hong Kong. And the most important thing is, what's your role in this? We believe that we'll be able to generate new business opportunities for most of you. Some friends ask me whether this is my first visit to Seattle. No, this is my third visit, third official visit, and indeed I visited Seattle back in the late 90s. I always liked this place. There's so many Starbucks. And of course I enjoy visiting the retired Air Force One. Well, just a little bit of information on who we are, so that when I'm gone, you can still get hold of my colleagues. The key mission of our Hong Kong Economic and Trade Office is to promote closer economic, trade and cultural ties between the US and Hong Kong. Apart from our headquarters in Washington, where I'm based, we also have offices in New York and San Francisco. Our San Francisco office offers one-stop investment promotion shop that provides free supporting services for US companies interested in establishing a foothold in Hong Kong. And indeed, tonight, two of my colleagues, Director Jeff Leung out there, and my Deputy Director, Shelley Lau, they are also with me tonight. So they would be a very good contact in case you need further information on Hong Kong. Again, a little bit of background information on Hong Kong. Hong Kong became a special administrative region of the People's Republic of China on July 1st, 1997. Under the one country, two system principle, Hong Kong enjoys a high degree of autonomy as guaranteed under the Basic Law, our mini constitution. 12 years on, Hong Kong continues to thrive as an international financial, trading and logistics hub. Today, this city of 7 million people enjoys per capita GDP of around $30,000. Our citizens continue to maintain our way of life and to cherish civil liberties of freedom. We have also retained our common law legal system inherited from the British. Our rule of law is firmly upheld by an independent judiciary, staffed by local Hong Kong judges. Our tax rate remains low, and this is important in case you are interested in establishing a company in Hong Kong. Our maximum salaries tax is capped at 15%, and profits tax at 16.5%. We do not have sales tax, no capital gains tax, and no VAT. And we maintain our own currency, which has been pegged to the US dollar at the rate of $1 to 7.8 Hong Kong dollar since 1983. So if you ever have doubts in spending US dollar in Japan or in Europe, you're welcome to take them to Hong Kong. Geographically, we are ideally situated at the doorstep of the mainland of China, and within 5 hours flight time, you can reach half of the world's population. And of course, in Hong Kong, we have a very well-educated workforce which speaks both fluent English and Chinese, and possesses vast experience in doing business in international markets, in particular, the mainland of China. And since 1997, we have preserved our staunch commitment to free trade. At the start of this year, Hong Kong was ranked the world's freest economy for the 16th consecutive year by the Heritage Foundation and the Wall Street Journal. Over the past 2 years, governments around the world took unprecedented steps to lessen the impact of the global economic crisis. As an externally oriented economy, Hong Kong was not immune to the effect of the economic crisis. Fortunately, Hong Kong is recuperating from the crisis, like other economies. Taking advantage of the healthy economic growth in the mainland and the recovery of the global economy, green shoots have appeared since the second quarter last year, with notable growth in our exports and retail sales in the last quarter. Our labor market has improved, with an unemployment rate now stabilized at 4.9%. And despite the downturn, visitor arrivals for 2009 reached a record high of nearly 29.6 million visitors. and this is important, and I will explain later on for wine markets. We also had a bullish market in the year of the ox for our property market and stock market, which have gone up by around 30% and 50% in 2009. We expect our GDP for 2009 to decline by 3.3% for 2009 as a whole. We will soon release our own economic forecast for 2010, but we are pleased to see that the International Monetary Fund's forecast of 5% real growth for the Hong Kong economy this year. So much for the background of Hong Kong. Now let me turn to the most important subject of tonight, the wine market in Hong Kong and its significance to you. For some years, the wine industry has been watching with interest the increasing consumption of wine in Asia. While Hong Kong is an important wine market in itself, the bigger market is, of course, in the mainland. Some trade experts expect wine imports into the mainland to grow to as much as $870 million by 2017, or 58% of the Asian market, excluding Japan. Hong Kong is certainly well placed in uncocking the mainland market. First, besides our geographical proximity to the mainland, we share the same language and the same culture with the mainland. We also have decades of experience in doing business across the boundary. Last year, we received nearly 18 million mainland visitors. Just imagine the potential business opportunities for your wine in Hong Kong if only half of the visitors take up their duty-free quota of 2 bottles of wine on the way back to the mainland. Not to mention the much bigger market in the mainland once these consumers have established brand loyalty towards your own products. Secondly, Hong Kong, with over 12,000 restaurants, is well recognized as the culinary center in the region. Asia has its own style of cuisine. A typical Chinese banquet in Hong Kong could comprise some 8 to 9 courses. This no doubt would present a challenge to the sommeliers for pairing wine with each course. But the good news is this will potentially allow the wine industry to sell a greater volume and variety of wine in Hong Kong. By the way, if you have difficulties in finding the right restaurants in Hong Kong, you could possibly use some restaurant guidebooks such as the Michelin Guide, which will help to narrow down your choices to 245 restaurants, including 42 with 1 to 3 stars. I think you still have to spend more than 1 week in Hong Kong. Thirdly, Hong Kong has fostered a most conducive environment for wine trading and development of wine-related business. As Robin just mentioned, Hong Kong has eliminated the 40% duties on wine since February 2008, making Hong Kong now the first free wine port amongst major economies. And in case you have forgotten, this is on top of the fact that there is no sales tax or VAT in Hong Kong. We also have introduced a number of supportive measures in areas such as customs facilitation, forging closer collaboration with wine trading partners, manpower training, and combating wine counterfeits. Hong Kong does not produce wine on commercial scale, and almost all the wine in Hong Kong is imported from overseas. To strengthen our cooperation with major wine-producing economies in the world, we have entered into cooperation arrangements on wine promotion with 7 places, namely France, Bordeaux of France, Spain, Australia, Italy, Hungary, New Zealand. These arrangements allow us to tap their experience and to cooperate in the promotion of wine trading, investment, tourism, and education, and in the fight against counterfeit wine. One good example is our collaboration in wine education and training. The Bordeaux Wine School has just teamed up with a tertiary institution in Hong Kong to offer a wine MBA course. These wine education programs will certainly benefit our local students, consumers, and wine lovers. And because of our bilingual environment, we can also contribute to the development of wine education and appreciation in the mainland. This is an area with tremendous potential growth. No doubt, our overseas partners in the Memorandum of Understanding